Hello and welcome back to Football Scrutiny. Today we're going to be taking a look at the game between Barcelona and Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarter-finals. And specifically, the 30 minutes of the game which rocked Barcelona down to its core. We're only going to focus on those 30 minutes, as those were the 30 minutes that broke the game. There were plenty of goals to be analysed, but we're just going to focus on the main points. And before we get into that, we're going to take a look at the lineup. So, with the Barcelona lineup then, on paper, we're thinking it's a 4-4-2 with Jordi Alba, Lenglet, Pique and Semedo at the back. Vidal favoured on the left-hand side with Busquets and De Jong in midfield. Roberto favoured on the right-hand side. Griezmann left out. Suarez and Messi up front. In the attacking phase, it looked more like a 4-3-3 than a 4-4-2. And then dropping into defence on occasions, it looked like Vidal and Roberto were dropping further back than their two midfielders, De Jong and Busquets. Messi and Suarez often left further forward, hoping to break out for a counter-attack. The Bayern Munich lineup then. As we can see, the Bayern Munich lineup with their favoured 4-2-3-1. Kimmich dropping back into that right-back role. Thiago again in the starting lineup. Gnabry and Perisic on the wings, and the deadly Müller and Lewandowski up front. The extremely pacey Davies on the left, and Boateng and Alaba the centre-back roles. In the attacking phase, Bayern Munich didn't change at all, 4-2-3-1 all over the pitch. When they pressed high though, we can see that Perisic and Gnabry were pressuring against the centre-backs. Lewandowski and Müller, interestingly enough, a little bit further back. Thiago holding as pivot as Goretzka pushed further forward. Kimmich and Davies ready to jump. Boateng and Alaba holding that centre-back in the middle of the pitch. In the mid-block, again, 4-2-3-1. And then when they're in a defensive transition, again, a 4-2-3-1. But that six at the back, the 4 and the 2 dropping really deep, and the other 4 taking their time to get back, confident in the cover which those 6 players would give them. And then when Barcelona did look to get their fullbacks high up the pitch, Gnabry and Perisic followed them, and it almost looked a 6-2-1-1 or a 6-3-1 in defence on rare occasions that Barcelona were able to do so. Starting off, we're going to take a look at the high lines from both teams as they tried to take control in the opposite side of the pitch. Here in the second minute, we can see that Barcelona now creating a counter-attack and Boateng holding that line, trying to hold that offside. This time, just moments later, Barcelona are trying to do exactly the same thing, holding that really high line. But Lenglet and Pique against the Bayern Munich strikers are always going to lose out such a high line. With Bayern Munich able to get down the wing and put in a cross, Müller on the edge of the box playing a 1-2 with Lewandowski, and that's 1-0 in the first 3 minutes of the match. Barcelona equalised with a goal coming from the movement for Vidal coming inside to create that 4-3-3. Here we can see that 4-3-3 system, and now with the movement from Vidal coming inside, allowing Alba to join up onto the wing and try and create that overlap and receive the ball in behind. That's exactly what happened, and when it did happen, Alba was able to get in towards the area and cross the ball in, but unfortunately Alaba turned it into his own net. 1-1. For me, the game was one with the Bayern Munich pressing, forcing Ter Stegen into mistakes, creating that high momentum in the opposite side of the pitch, winning the ball back and creating more pressure for those Barcelona players. So starting with the ball at the goal kick or any pass back to Stegen, you can see there that Perisic and Gnabry are high up the pitch, higher even than striker Lewandowski and Müller, who were responsible for blocking off passes into Busquets, into Roberto, and then Goretzka would move on to De Jong, therefore creating superiority with Thiago in the middle of the pitch, 4 against 3. Gnabry and Perisic responsible for pressing the centre-backs should the ball be passed to them, and also responsible for tracking back against full-backs Alba and Semedo. When the ball would be passed into one of the centre-backs, Gnabry and Perisic would arc their runs, trying to create a cover shadow against the full-backs and force Barcelona to play inside. Inside? Why? Because that's where they've got superiority, 6 against 4 there. Messi out wide, Vidal out wide against Davies and Kimmich, 6 against 4 in the middle of the pitch, and Ter Stegen regularly made the mistake of trying to clear in central areas. Here we can see that if the ball did come over in these examples, the fullbacks would jump out long distances into Alba and into Semedo, with obviously the defence shifting across. Here we can see that example then, where the ball is now at Ter Stegen. Gnabry is pressuring from the side, arcing his run and preventing the ball not just from going to Semedo, but also to Pique, and now forcing the play inside where they've got superiority. Lewandowski and Müller there responsible for Busquets and De Jong. Two centre midfielders, Goretzka and Thiago, also in the middle. And then just at the bottom of the screen you can see Davies creeping up just to make sure that that ball is chipped over into Semedo's feet, that he can run out on pressure, and then the team would shift across. That's not what happened. You can see the superiority in the middle of the pitch, and when Gnabry goes to press, Ter Stegen chips the ball straight into Thiago, and they win possession back. Plenty of space then for Thiago to receive the ball in the middle of the pitch, no one near him, and a poor clearance when you've got a team which is really open. Again, 5 minutes later, exactly the same process. Here we can see this time a 4 against 4 situation, but again, this time Perisic pressuring Ter Stegen, forcing him into a mistake into the middle of the pitch. And you can see there Luis Suarez's reaction when Thiago receives that ball free with no one around him, and this was just adding to the pressure for Barcelona. On one of the occasions that Barcelona did manage to break out from the high press from Bayern Munich, Alba bringing the ball forward, playing the ball inside to Vidal while Suarez moved away to try and drag the Bayern Munich defence backwards. Vidal receiving inside, then switched it into De Jong and Roberto, and then you can see now that Messi and Semedo at the bottom of your screen starting to create that 2 against 1 situation with the defence against Bayern Munich. And we're also going to look at that 6 defending players whilst leaving the 4 attacking players further forward. So here's that pass into Alba a few minutes after the previous high press where Ter Stegen had failed, into Alba. He now plays the ball inside into Vidal, ball out to Roberto, and then Roberto plays that ball into Messi. We've got a 2 against 1 situation against Davies, and there is that 4 and the 2. The back 4 and the 2 defensive midfielders dropping back in that defensive transition, and the further forward players Gnabry, Perisic, Müller and Lewandowski not coming back as quickly, confidence in their back 6. And then there's the mistake from Semedo to make it 2-1. This is unfortunate. In between Semedo and Roberto, they messed it all up in the middle of the pitch. And then quickly, a quick offensive transition from Bayern Munich. Gnabry driving in towards Pique, and then playing the ball into Perisic's path. And from there, he didn't fail and made it 2-1 to Bayern Munich. This was a key for me. When you're losing 2-1, you need to be able to put pressure on. For me, it was 2 lazy, specific players who I am going to call out, and that is Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi, for me, defensively was really lazy during this game, and I was really quite surprised. Don't know if he was tired or carrying a knock, but in this example here, Thiago has got plenty of space on the ball just to pick passes through that, can we call it high press? That lazy defending from Barcelona. And that gives Bayern Munich the opportunity to play the ball out into Davies, where you've got a 1-on-1 situation with young Semedo. On this occasion it came to nothing, but this was just a sign of no pressure on the ball from Barcelona against Bayern Munich. Okay, so here's an example of low block, no pressure. Here we've got Thiago dropping back, Kimmich, the fullback, with Boateng and Alaba creating a 4 against 2 situation with Suarez and Messi. And neither Suarez, neither Messi getting anywhere near, leaving De Jong having to try and jump out onto Thiago. When this was happening, we've also got superiority in this section here. We've got Müller, Gnabry, Goretzka and Lewandowski against Alba, Longley and Pique. Now when there's no pressure on the ball, you can't afford to allow passes to come inside where you've got numerical inferiority. So the ball came into here, ball over the top for Gnabry, and that's another goal. Here we can see it on the pitch. Messi walking, no pressure on the ball. Suarez also no pressure on the ball, just looking for the counter-attack. Thiago with far too much space to pick passes in between the lines from Barcelona. And again, this is the amount of space that Thiago's got to be able to pick passes in between that section. We've got Lewandowski, Goretzka, Gnabry and Müller against 3 players from Barcelona with Semedo further out wide. When that ball comes in, they make it 3-1. And then there's the mistake from Semedo and the great run from Müller to make it 4-1. Here, again, Boateng, plenty of space and time on the ball. Messi walking again. Luis Suarez nowhere near. De Jong having to jump out to press. Far too much space for them to be able to play. Chip the ball over, and this is where Semedo makes his mistake. Semedo tries to clear, fails. And then when the ball gets crossed and then put back in by Kimmich, a great run from Müller makes it 4-1 to Bayern Munich. And for me, that was the end of the game. We're not going to analyse it any further. To conclude, the game was won and Barcelona were destroyed because of an early high line causing Barcelona problems and allowing Bayern Munich to get early on the score sheet. Ter Stegen's poor decision making, putting Barcelona under more pressure and giving Bayern Munich more momentum. Semedo, the young fullback, having problems against some of the best and most experienced players in world football. And Barcelona not putting pressure on the ball, allowing too much time and space on the ball for the opponents just to play the ball through, putting more pressure on that back 8, those 2 defensive lines of 4. And then Bayern Munich, well, their high pressing forced Barcelona into making lots of mistakes, prevented them from getting on the ball in central areas, using pace to get in behind the defence. And then Müller, exceptional as always. And then, of course, being able to create superiority in specific areas, which Barcelona just could not deal with. Game over before half-time. Barcelona with the worst defeat in their history in the Champions League. Hope you enjoyed this analysis. Stay tuned for our further analysis in the Champions League semi-finals.